Welcome back to another episode of City Refs, the unofficial officials. I'm your boy Mondo. We have Varsity Dan, and we have a very special guest, Mr. Post.
Hey, what's up?
You know, after all these years, I still call you Mr. Post.
That's really hard.
I know. But thanks for coming on the pod, man.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So you have a phenomenal story, which we'll get to in a little bit. But taking it back, I told Abby we would have you on the podcast, and she's like, "Wow, you're gonna actually have an official referee on the pod." The disrespect, dude.
Well, now it's official. No, you can't say that. You're unofficial.
Yeah. Well, we still are.
Yeah, we still are.
Yeah.
And we'll continue being that.
Yeah, that's funny. But we wanted to touch base on the Old Herald event because you guys got to come out, meet Ezra, Larson.
So I told Lela, well, I brought Bianca too, but mainly Lela wanted to go, and it was great. Like she really didn't know what to expect because she never really understood like they were the players that are on the field. Yeah. So I was like, these are the guys who are going to play, but they weren't in their uniform. She's like, they don't look like they're soccer players. I was actually wearing a tie for that game or that event too. And I don't know if you noticed that they came right up to me and started like talking to me like I was the owner. And I had to tell them, like, just so you know, I'm not official of any kind. I have no authority in this place whatsoever. And they're like, oh, okay. And they're like, where's Mondo?
Who set me up? Oh, man, that's fun. Yeah, you guys are just roasting them, man. Because Lela, I was like, do you think they can get past you? She's like, no.
Not a chance.
Not a chance. She had all the confidence in the world. We were watching, I can't remember his name, but he got hurt during the game.
Bartlett.
Was that his name?
Lucas. Just recently?
Yeah.
Bartlett. Blonde hair.
Yeah. And I was like, watch this guy. He's going to be like, he's a big, horrible person. He's a sweeper like you. And she's like, okay, I'm watching. And then like, he gets hurt. He's like, I don't think he's that good.
I guess send this to him.
Yeah. Because how old is Lela now?
8. Yeah,
8-year-old roasting Bartlett. Maybe we'll just have like a bunch of clips mashed up. Like mean tweets.
Yeah, that'd be great. She's like her mom though. She's got a silver tongue. She can cut you to real quick.
Oh yeah. Luckily she's been sweet to us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she likes you guys.
Yeah.
We were about to leave the game yesterday, and I wanted to go see you before. We were making our rounds to see everybody
at the LAFC game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And sorry, I should have said that. And we're like, you want to go see Mondo or you want to get pizza in the beginning of the game? And she goes, well, pizza.
Yeah.
So pizza won, and we were about to leave because we had to leave at halftime. That was the only way that Mom would sign off on being able to go to the game. Yeah. And we still got home pretty late, and. Anyway, we're about to leave. I'm like, you want to go say hi to Mondo? I was like, oh, yeah. Let's go say hi to Mondo. And so we made our way down. That's when we saw you guys at halftime.
Yeah. What's awesome, you should have told us ahead of time. So when you guys went to get pizza, we just had it ready.
Oh, I didn't even know that pizza. That's the best pizza, by the way. That City, no.
I have no idea. I still don't know what it's called.
I don't even know what it's called, but it's right there.
We went to that place all the time during our hospital stays. It was right by Barnes.
Oh, well, the pizza place that you guys went to?
I can't remember what it's called now. Oh, gosh, this is going to be... Maybe you can flash it.
Yeah, we'll look it back.
But it's they have the best pizza, and it's just like the New York style pizza.
Yeah.
And have you guys bought that pizza yet? It's right by your section. So
So we have a funny story about that one.
Yeah.
That was the first time I ever went to a place that you pay and then you're able to get in and they like track you.
Yeah.
I was like,
it's like it's like it's one of those new. Yeah, I think they call it like a smart market or something. You just put your card on file basically when you go in, and then you walk out with everything. You don't scan nothing.
Yeah, it feels
just
weird.
Automatically
it feels so weird.
Stealing. You're like, you sure I can leave? They're like, oh yeah, go ahead. I don't believe you. But then they had to open up my beverage before I left. They're like, oh, we got to do that. So
yeah.
And I'm like,
yeah.
So,
my bank gets mad at me because every week I submit fraud. Every time.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I didn't buy those 10 beers for the game. Oh, man, that's crazy. But that game was fun.
The Sunday game or the Wednesday game?
Yeah,
both were fun.
It was like back to back.
Both.
Yeah.
Insane. Because we haven't been in like a month and a half. Well, you did Austin. And then all of a sudden it's like City 2, LAFC. And then we'll be back for KC.
It was so good.
Yeah.
This was my first time at the stadium Sunday, and then the first MLS game Wednesday, and it did not disappoint. So
yeah, that was awesome because that was one of my questions too. Because it was, I'm assuming Lela's first time too, right?
Yeah, she absolutely fell in love with it, partly because of the pizza, but also, also like she was just welcomed by everybody. We went to the St. Lunigans little Shaflee's party beforehand, and they all greeted her there. And then like I saw like 5 different referees that I had worked with in the previous past, and we all said hi. I saw actually George Gansner. I don't know if you know who that is, but he is one of the best ARs ever referee in America, and he's from St. Louis.
Oh man,
he's one of the coolest guys. He's always been a mentor. Even when he was working in the MLS, he would come out to games and help kids out and give you tips and stuff. So I saw him and his kids, and they're at the dock with that Purina Dock Park thing.
Oh yeah, right outside. Yep.
Yeah, so we got some free swag from like all the places, and
nice.
Yeah, and Lee's like, I love soccer. I love the swag.
Yeah, all the free stuff. They have so much to do for kids pre-match. Unfortunately, we don't get to see that because
we get in line early.
Yeah, once we get in line, we're kind of locked in for a couple hours.
Yeah,
that's the one thing. We need to start branching out. We say it every time, but now that we have a deal with Akil, if he scores in the sports section, he's going to run up. Watch the one time we're not there, he just scores his crazy goal.
Can you not one of you go and save a spot, and then the other one go outside and have fun? And like,
we can't do that.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we could,
but that would suck. It's a tag team duo here.
I understand that. I was
kind of attached.
I was more like not videotaping it, just like okay, I'll be back, and then I come back.
Well, he did that to me one time. He's like, I'm going to go meet the South End supporters. I was like, wow, I'm not going. I'm right here, dude. Yeah. So he left. He left almost the whole game. It was like an hour and a half later.
There was a rain delay that game. And I didn't notice.
Bro.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. But we try not to do that. Oh, man.
I got to pay him back.
Yeah. Well, he's always late, so I'm always stranded by myself.
Not that late.
Yeah. Oh, man. Before we get, into some of the games, so I want to get more in depth into the games. But, we're at our old stomping grounds here at Collinsville High School. It's a little weird. I'm not going to be honest with you.
It's a little surreal.
Yeah.
I spent most of my high school career avoiding this place.
I know she started calling me. I know you started calling me Mr. Post when she entered the doors. It was Post before. And then it's like, hey, Mr. Post, how's it going?
Sir, hey, sir. Yeah. Oh, man. Because it's just wild. Because I don't know if I mentioned it. Like, Mr. Post was my old study hall teacher my senior year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But he's young back then, though.
Yeah. I was, I couldn't grow facial hair back then. So, like, I was always envious of your beard. Yeah. Goatee or something.
Yeah, you saw me in middle school. I had the beard.
So I still have a chance, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
30. It was like 37 when I hit puberty. So.
Okay. Sweet. I'm not there yet. So.
Yeah. Daniel's like 37.
I should have stayed in school. Oh man.
Because it was crazy. But back to like the Old Herald event too, because you had found out my secret after like 12 years, 13 years.
I was, I wonder if I could like retroactively write you up.
Well, you should have had like
I don't even know what this was.
So I used to tell him that I was going to video production during my study hall, but then I would go to Abby's lunch hour and hang out with her.
Oh, a little sneaky.
Yeah.
And I got invited to the wedding, so all was forgiven. So,
Oh, I'm still mad at him. He didn't invite me to his wedding.
Oh.
Well, we weren't even talking then.
But I bring it up anyways.
Right. I mean, that's a deep cut.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I was like, we can only invite one more person, Mr. Post, Danny Cal.
Right.
Good choice.
Oh man, but that was hilarious. I tell Abby that, and she cracks up all the time. Yeah. She's like, "Does he know?"
It's like I had my suspicions that you were doing something. I thought it was not. I didn't think it was a girl. I thought it was like you were doing. I mean, I'm not trying to like make any judgments here.
Yeah.
But I thought
it was actually I was skipping to see Danny Cal.
Yeah.
I just thought you were like running around with your boys and causing mischief,
So you're like, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, well, here's my thing with the study hall is like, and whenever they get caught, I'm like, oh, you said you were going here.
Yeah.
What happened? And then they get their passes revoked, and they're like, I guess you're staying here with me.
Yeah. Which I mean,
nowhere.
Yeah, that would have been a bad thing because we had some great conversations.
I'm really wondering what happened because like there was a moment where you all of a sudden you were kind of a jerk, honestly. Like, so you were very focused. No, I'm telling you, like, to me, not to like anybody else. Like, so it was like he was like, I'm going to video production. And then you're like, I'm going to video production. And then all of a sudden you had to like do some writing. I think it's a scholarship or something. And you're like, I gotta get some stuff done. Can you get these guys quiet, please? And you're like laser focused. And then all of a sudden something flipped. And you're like, hey, Mr. Post, I got an opinion on this. And like we started talking about everything. And I was like, I always wondered, like, he just got all his stuff done. Now he can goof around. Or
yeah, I don't know.
Man, maybe leave as much. And I was like, I don't know.
That's crazy. I wonder, Abby finally said yes to date me. Maybe that's what it was.
And you're like, well, now I can leave that alone.
Now I can be myself.
The box is checked.
Check like this box over here behind me. Oh, man. Yeah, I didn't know. Well, sorry if I was a jerk. I didn't know.
No, it was more like, okay, he's all business. I get it. Like, and I tried to talk to you about the video production stuff because I was interested in it. And you're like, yeah, we're doing so much stuff. But you come to find out, like, you weren't really going there.
I'm like, bro, stop asking me questions. I don't want to lie to you.
How's video production? You're like, great.
Well, then I believed your lie because you were on the Chaos Talk. And I'm like, oh,
that's right.
Yeah. All right. Well, I remember maybe that. He was doing, and like, then all his stories matched up and I stopped asking questions because like, oh, look, there he is.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, it wasn't every time. I did go to video production some of the time.
Okay. So there was like...
Yeah, so
truths.
Yeah. I did go. I didn't go every time to lunch hour because I actually did work on projects. Because I think you were in one of my projects.
Yeah, well, small bit.
Yeah, small bit.
Yeah,
I think my study hall teacher was Mr. Shusky.
Oh, he's a legend.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I think he was my study hall.
Him and his coffee mugs,
dude.
Yeah, he
like
was a legend.
Over 20 mugs are just dirty.
They're just dark
dirty
mug coffee. Yeah.
One time someone cleaned it for a prank and he got so angry.
Oh man.
Oh my god. Yeah, people who do that, they're pretty proud of that stain.
It's
like a badge of honor.
He always gets my favorite is what mug he's going to choose for the year because he always has
like a big deal.
It's a really interesting mug always. It's never like just a plain mug. He always picks one. It's like this is the year for this mug. Like coming up to the big leagues.
I just picture him like he picks like 6 mugs and then he like tries a little bit out of it and he's like,
"That's right."
No, it's not right.
I bet it's the weight. Like
the weight,
the counterweight because he walks to the coffee room and he has to walk back and he can't be spilling that magic juice.
Yeah, that's a lot to think about.
Yeah.
It is.
I don't know if he thinks too much as we're thinking, but
yeah, we're probably like, way overthinking this now.
He's more like, I like this mug. It's a good mug.
Or just the closest one.
Yeah. Whatever he reaches for. Yeah, that's hilarious. Oh man. But getting into it a little bit more serious note. Obviously, like the point of the City 2 match was to do something special for Lela, your daughter. So if you wanted just to share the story of what you guys went through and.
Do you want me to start with the beginning, or do you like?
Yeah, okay. Pretty much.
So so both of you guys are fathers.
Yep.
So that's a pretty cool. I watched your podcast about being a dad in the insurance company,
State Farm.
Yeah. And it's cool that you got those sponsors, by the way. And like how amazing being a father is. What I noticed that you didn't say is that how anxiety-inducing fatherhood is.
Yeah.
And it doesn't get better.
I can only imagine.
Like you lose sleep, you are in small things, So how to say this? So when Lee was 4, we found out that she may not gain all her teeth in her mouth, like the adult teeth, and I don't know why that made me so sad. It did. And then like a year later, she so COVID's weird. Okay. So you have to know that we went to preschool 4 and then we got cut off by COVID. And then we had a decision to make to go to kindergarten or to keep her home because COVID was so rampant. We had, the grandparents were, my dad has heart issues and we're like, man, should we be sending our kids to expose them to this? And they're all willing to take her. And Bianca was, I don't know if I ever mentioned this, but Bianca is diagnosed with autism. And so in the beginning of COVID, we were dealing with what the hell do we do with, what do we do with Bianca? And because we needed to she wasn't talking, like full sentences. So we got her into an autism clinic called Hope Clinic. And now like you wouldn't even know that she has autism because she's done so much work. So a year later, we noticed, so we kept both kids home as much as we could, but Bianca was going to Hope Clinic and the grandparents were taking her there. And my daughter, Lela, was staying home and basically in homeschool kindergarten. And we're like, this is the best choice. Should we have a repeat kindergarten? Should we do first grade? What should we do? And then in January, we noticed like her getting pale, being lethargic, sick, but not like really sick. We went to the doctor 3 times, like, what's going on? Like, she has like a 99-degree fever all the time. Like, oh, she's fine. And then all of a sudden she got 38 little tiny bruises the size of dimes all over her body. And we told the doctor, we called her. She's like, hey, you should go to Children's right now. And we're like, okay. And all like, okay. And so Bianca was at Hope Clinic and we took Lee to Children's. And when we got there, we realized like, oh my God, we have to go pick up Bianca. So I left and came back, and Stephanie pulled me into the bathroom and told me that she had leukemia.
Oh man.
And I was like, what? Like speechless.
Yeah.
Like, how your stomach sinks when you find out terrible news, and it just felt like a stone went right through the bottom of my stomach. And, I couldn't breathe type of like, so anxiety inducing, like lots of questions. But then they basically are like, okay, so you're staying here. I'm like, I don't know. What's that mean? Like, well, we're going up to the 9th floor, which is kind of an infamous floor because it's where all the cancer patients go during with their treatment. And you're going to be there for at least 4 weeks. And I'm like, okay, we don't have any clothes. We have nothing. And so I stayed the first night and, arranged for Bianca to be taken care of by the grandparents and got some stuff. And the first night was hell because they gave her all sorts of different things to start her regimen because she had so with leukemia, it attacks all the cells in your bone marrow. So the things that create the red blood cells, the white blood cells, the platelets, everything. And so she had none of those. That's why she was so pale. That's why she was bruising so easily, Yeah. And that night, they gave her platelets. And I remember at like midnight, she wakes up and she's like, I'm so cold. I'm so cold. I'm so cold. Like I can't. And so I got in the bed and I was like trying to warm her up. Not thinking like maybe I called a nurse, Yeah. And then eventually I did. I pressed the button and they come in. They're like, she has 140-degree temperature right now. So she was allergic to platelets. And so then like from then on, we had to take like Benadryl before we got platelets. And so it's just like, what they don't tell you with cancer, because most people they don't really know, is that eventually like there's never a moment where you feel safe, ever. And so the thing that we took from that is that you have to enjoy the moments that are good. And then you have to weather the moments that are bad. And that was pretty much a mantra that we took really quickly. And Lela was actually enjoying herself other than that one moment.
Yeah.
Loved the hospital. I mean, she didn't have to share time with her parents from her sister. People were showing up just to entertain her. She got to watch as many movies and eat as much pizza as she wanted. Like, it was great. And then something really terrible happened. So when you take chemotherapy, it depletes your immune system. And she wasn't going to the bathroom. And a mass developed in her large intestine. And a perforation in her large intestine developed. And so what that means is that basically fecal matter was escaping into her abdomen, possibly. Mm-hmm. And it was they told her, okay, you can't drink or eat anymore, period.
Wow.
And we're like, okay, so for how long? It's like, we don't know. And we're like, okay. And then the days progressed. They took CAT scans and they're like, okay, so it's not like getting worse. So we're going to not do surgery because she has no immune system. If she do it, because they're like, this doesn't happen. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So, okay. And we took 3 CAT scans total. So we had 1 and then 2 5 days later. And then they're like, okay, it's not getting worse. We think it's isolated. We're going to wait to see if it heals itself. And we're like, okay, how long does that take? And they're like, we don't know. And it's like, okay. And so I remember there was a surgeon that was a resident. So if you don't know, residents are like the rookies. The attendings are like the guys. Like they're the show, you know?
Yeah.
They know what they're doing. The residents are just like winging it from the hip type of thing. And there's this one surgeon that was a resident that would just piss me off. Like made me so mad. He came in the first day and goes, oh yeah, we're doing surgery. Totally. And I'm like, well, what? And then my attending oncologist was like, wait, what? And then the attending comes in and goes, we're not doing that. Sit down.
Oh my gosh.
And so we were going 12 days in to our not eating, not drinking. And I don't know if you ever went that long without eating or drinking.
Oh.
I haven't either. And it was awful. Like I can't describe how like we couldn't eat in front of her. We couldn't drink anything in front of her. Like so she was surviving because they gave her proteins and like they were keeping her alive, but the hunger pains were still there. And so she was really cranky and really mad. And eventually she's like, why can't I eat or drink? What's happening? Basically.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've ever had, like, I don't know how many people have ever had to have a talk about mortality with their 6-year-old kid. I think she was 5 at the time, but like we had to talk about like, there's a possibility that you could die. And like a strong possibility that this doesn't work out.
I couldn't imagine that, man.
And it's like, she goes, I'm going to die. It's like, I don't know. I can't tell you. What I can tell you is that we're going to do what the doctors tell us to do. Because that's all we can do. And so we're going to enjoy every day we can because that's what we got.
Yeah.
And so she goes, what's going to happen? How are we going to get through this? And so I said, you know, the Navy SEALs have a saying, like, do you know how to eat an elephant? And she's like, no, it's like one bite at a time. So we just took it one step at a time and one day at a time, 1 hour at a time, and try to make everything like just be in the moment every day. And so it was about the 12th day and we're always having updates. And that same surgeon comes in, the resident surgeon is delivering messages because I thought we were going to have a CAT scan on a Friday before they went home, but they didn't do it to find out if it was like doing surgery, what we're doing, where we stand. And he goes, we're going to wait some more. I'm like, what do you mean you're going to wait? He's like, we're going to wait through the weekend. I'm like, the weekend? He's like, what happens if something happens? He's like, well, we have a team here that could do the surgery if she goes septic. And I'm like, buddy, I really don't like you right now.
Yeah. That's tough.
And so we finally, my wife and I switch off every day. So like it comes, so I'm going to tell you a story of like faith real quick. I don't know if this is that place, but
no, it's okay.
You can cut it up if you don't want it. I don't know. I always talk about this to people in the hospital because it's kind of like prison. Everybody's a story. Everybody's like, why are you here?
No, yeah.
It's like, well, we got a broken leg. You know?
Yeah.
And, you know, and everybody has their like story of how they got there and what they're doing and how they're dealing with it.
Yeah.
And everybody, even I met a Muslim family, I met a Buddhist family, and a Hindu family, and all had different faiths, but they all believed in something. And I think that's the most important thing is that like understand that there's something in the universe that's like guiding you somehow. I can't tell you what it is. I'm not that guy, but I am the guy who can tell you a story that makes it can't be this convenient. It can't be this coincidental. So, Mr. Wright, I don't know if you know who that is. He's the band director now, or he's a principal now, but he was a band director at the time. They did a fundraiser, and Stephanie's aunts did a seance thing when their parents died, and they said, your parents will come back in the form of dimes. Anytime you see a dime, you know that Fran and Gilbert are watching. It's like, okay, cool. Well, Mr. Wright hands me a cash money, big envelope, like $700. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Oh my God. And then I look in the envelope and there's 2 dimes with the cash.
That's pretty wild.
I'm like, okay, it's weird.
Yeah.
And then my grandparents, when on their tombstone, we put mourning doves on the tombstone. And that would be the idea that they really thought that would be like their epitome of what they come back in or whatever. And the Monday that we were going to get the CAT scan, I always had a tradition of going to Starbucks right next to campus. Yeah. And so I'd walk into Starbucks and all of a sudden a bird buzzed in my head. I look up and it's a mourning dove.
It hit you in the head?
Like it buzzed the tower.
Oh, okay.
Like, Top Gun
crazy.
style.
Yeah.
Pretty high up for us, but he's kind of tough.
yeah, that's why he's skyscraper.
And so I look up there. I'm like, that's weird. So I get my coffee, and you have to go a different exit. So I'm going on the other side of the building, and all of a sudden another mourning dove, along with the second, so 2 mourning doves show up, and they're like staring me down from me to you, and I'm like, and these numbers, and looking back, and they're like following me. I'm like, okay, that's weird. And then they do the CAT scan that the afternoon, and they come back with the results, and they're like, you won't believe this. I can't explain it. There's no hole anymore.
Wow.
Like, it's gone. And so what they think happened was that there was a pocket. Like if this is the large intestine, there's like a little pocket where the hole was, and it caught everything and allowed it, like kind of pressed up against it.
Yeah.
And then it healed. It allowed time to heal, so it didn't like explode, basically.
Yeah. Wow.
And so
that's incredible.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So we eventually get out of the hospital. Lela can't even go upstairs. She can't like get into bed because her muscles had atrophied so much. And so the long, like 2.5 years of treatment, of time in the hospital, like we would have, I think every month at one point we were going to the hospital for at least 4 or 5 days at a time. And just, there was one point where we had like, she had to not eat for another like 7 days. And she's like, oh, it was easy.
Oh man. Yeah.
Can you imagine like 7 days without eating? And so anyway, that's the depressing stuff. Like it's stuff I don't like thinking about a lot. Because like, and that's one reason why Lee is such a mature kid, is that she's been around adults like for the last 2.5 years. Yeah. And, so I noticed like, when you guys were talking to her, she was like actually talking to you guys, not just being like a weird kid. And,
yeah.
Well, I mean, we're weird.
Yeah,
so
that helps.
Yeah, he is a little weird.
That helps. That's why we get along so well. And so, anyway, so we get to like through the hard stuff. And so last year she went to her first full year of school in first grade. And
that's awesome.
And then she couldn't play soccer because she had a port in her chest that led to her heart. That's how he got chemotherapy. And so in June, or the end of May and June, she rang the bell, beat the leukemia, and she got a port taken out. And so she had like the best summer. She went like, she could go to water slides. She could go to, she could go in rivers finally, because you couldn't go in rivers or ponds. So we went canoeing, went to Florida. We went all over. And then she got to play soccer. And that's when I contacted you. To say like, hey, you guys like soccer, and I think it's cool that Lee's kind of again, like she wants to play soccer again. Yeah. And she had, because of COVID, she hadn't played in like 3.5 years. So like it was, canceled seasons and then leukemia. Yeah. And so it's just like, man, but she was able to play on, we pulled a little few strings, and she was able to play. So Bianca's playing up. And Bianca and Lela is allowed to play in the second grade because she is in second grade technically, but she's the oldest second grader. And so she gets to play with her sister this year, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, it was awesome to see.
So, and then I asked her if she wanted to go to some games, you know, just nonchalantly. And then when you guys were like, "Hey, we got this, we got this plan," and I was like, "Okay, let's make this happen." And I didn't tell her anything about it. And when she got to the field, she was just like, "What's going on?" And I'm like, and then Ezra came up, and she's a cool guy to get that all organized and get the team to sign the jerseys. And so that jersey right there is what got signed. And I'm really glad that the signature stayed on because I had to wash it last night. She got some pizza grease on the front of it.
Oh man,
it came out, so that's good.
Yeah,
but the signature stayed on, so I was like, because we've been just tearing it the other way.
yeah.
But she loved the game. She loved being. And when you gave the cards to her, she was like, "Oh, it's awesome." And then being able to like flash the plastic.
Yeah, that's crazy. But I was gonna say, like, thank you for sharing that story. Like, for one, because like, you know, Abby and I follow, you know, what was going on, but not very detailed. So like, you know, we knew what was going on. We always did. You know, we
didn't share a lot of this.
Yeah,
the deeper details because I think. Well, I used to. I don't know if you guys have ever had to deal with like family emergencies where like you're the caretaker and you have to but everybody's asking you questions and you're like, okay, stop talking to me right now because I need you to stop texting me. I need you to stop doing everything. So I started doing video messages. So every day in the hospital, I would give an update and then I would send it through Facebook Messenger. So I didn't want to post it.
Right.
Like, I post the big stuff.
Yeah.
But I didn't like anybody who was like family and like really close friends who are like doing caretaking stuff.
Yeah.
They would come up to me and go, "So what's Lee doing?" It's like, "Did you watch the video?" I'd do that to my parents too. Like, "Did you watch the video?" And they're like, "No." And I'm like, call me when you watch the video. Because it's like a 2-minute video.
Yeah.
Like of what's going on. And then they could ask questions from there. So that's why you didn't see like a lot of. I didn't want to like.
No, no worries at all. Yeah,
a bunch of stuff, but
I'm saying like it's good to hear like because people don't know the hard stuff.
Yeah,
you know, and it's hard to imagine. So it's like, you know, what you guys went through. You guys are an amazing family, and I'm glad it all worked out. Like, you know, Lela's amazing, and I mean, obviously, like I love you, you know. So it's like it's just great to see like that everything worked out.
You know, it's there. So they told us. It's hard to believe this. They told us that there's going to be a 93% success rate, that the cancer will never come back. And so you're like, okay, that's good. And then you always hear about stories and you're like, man, I need to stay off the internet right now.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's just the worst. Like, you knew whenever my wife would be crying, I'm like, did you go on the internet? It's like, yes, I can. All the terrible stories you ever hear on the internet.
But it's hard not to do.
Yeah. Like, what does this mean? And then you all of a sudden Wikipedia or WebMD is telling you everything that could happen. You're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So
it's hard to imagine.
Yeah, it's the worst thing, WebMD thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because you look on there and it's like, you just see like the worst thing on there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like my son's 2 and like he developed a rash on his whole body. You know?
Yep.
Oh God.
Yeah.
You know, like
it could be anything.
Yeah.
You go to the doctor and they're like, it's just a rash.
Yeah, it's like put some lotion on that.
Yep.
But
you don't know. First time parent.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's we went to the doctor a lot more with Lela than we did Bianca. Yeah, you're a little more when you have a second one, you're like, hey, you'll be fine. And then you're like, hey, you're still hurt, huh?
Yeah. Oh man, but it is like I'm gonna find that out. I'm a month in. Like Micah's a month. Like it flies by.
Dude, that month is the most exhausting month.
Oh yeah.
First month is tough.
Finding out. Yeah, I found out.
6 weeks is the magic number, I think. Is it? Did you find that, Dan? That 6 weeks is kind of like when they start.
Yeah, that's when I went back to work.
Yeah.
So it was a lot easier.
Yeah.
Sorry for the wife.
Yeah. I was like, I can't wait to go to work.
No. Yeah, I was blessed to be able to stay home, you know, pretty much for about 5 weeks.
That's good.
So very exhausting, but it was incredible.
Yeah.
Definitely some of my favorite, you know, moments.
Yeah.
In that first month.
I remember the 6-week mark was right at Father's Day when I was, or 8 weeks, 8 or 6, somewhere on there. And that was when she first smiled.
Yeah.
like real smile.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have a picture of it. It's the worst picture in the world. It's like taken like,
Yeah.
But it was like, they're not just a bag of flesh that's,
No.
you know, you're feeding and cleaning. It's their person, and they all of a sudden their personality starts showing up. And that's so cool.
Yeah, that's what I can't wait for, because I was like, as soon as he starts smiling and laughing, he won't stop.
Yeah.
I got them jokes saved up.
The first couple months they're just existing, and then after that,
so
they
fun.
have their own personality.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah. But I mean, that's the thing. Like you said, you heard all the, the positive things, but you don't realize, like, or we don't say like how hard fatherhood, being a parent in general is.
And it gets different hard all the time. That's the hard. That's the thing that they don't tell you. It's like, oh, just wait. Like whenever people are like, just wait for the teenagers, like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to do that. So let me tell you a story about teenagers real quick, because I deal with teenagers all the time, so I know how they have a lot of hormones going on. And sometimes you're like, why did you do that? It's like, I don't know. So Lela took steroids during the treatment to help like isolate the cancer cells.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a story where she like just lost her stuff. So she's in like 12 days, like 10 days in not eating. So anybody's cranky.
Right.
Yeah.
And she's on roids, and she's just like, and she's connected to her little like post that she has all her stuff in. And she all of a sudden a paper falls on the ground, and she goes, pick it up. And I go, no, I don't want to pick it up. And we're in the middle of like the hospital. I mean, like I'm on the other side of the room, and she's like, pick it up. And it's 20 minutes of a 5-year-old yelling at me to pick up a piece of paper. It's like, pick up the paper. And I'm like, whoa. It's like, and the 3 nurses had to show up. It's like, hey, maybe you shouldn't talk to your dad. It's like, maybe you should pick up that paper.
They're holding her back.
Like, you're lucky this pole is right there.
I can only imagine.
And then we got a little preview. Like, so you would take steroids periodically throughout. And like, whenever they're like, well, it's a steroid month. And I'm like, son of a gun. And we would tell the grandparents, we would pick them up from school. It's like, just so you know, she's going to be on steroids for the next week. And they're like, no. And she would be like a really cranky teenager for like 5 days.
You walk into her like room, and then there's like 8 recycling bins.
She would eat and eat and eat. Like she was one time on, she was on steroids. She ate a whole Papa John's pizza by herself.
Yeah. Wow. Now we know why pizza is so important.
Oh my gosh.
I might be on steroids then.
Oh my god.
I could eat a whole pizza.
There you go. Just pure testosterone, pure man.
Oh man.
He got caught juicing back in high school.
No. Never.
That's why he made varsity.
Short amount of time.
So I'm like Messi then. Messi was on that growth hormone.
Oh,
but I didn't grow.
Yeah, I know.
At least he got to 5'6". I'm only at 5'5".
Yeah, man.
You're 5'5".
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Oh my god.
Hey, don't say it like that.
Yeah.
Come on now.
He's looking down on you, literally.
You're 5'5".
No, I thought you were much taller. Like,
No, I'm about 5'5".
Okay.
Yeah, same. I'm short.
Yeah.
I thought you guys were like 5'10". Like,
We'll go with that.
Yeah, we'll
like,
take it.
If someone would have asked me, I'm like, yeah, those guys are like
No, heck no.
Dude,
5'10".
So
Short.
First of all, Mr. Posey, he's like one of our biggest hype men. Like if you would have sat with us at the City 2 game, like that was crazy. Like
Oh yeah.
the kids that like surrounded us like to get autographs like that. First of all, like that was insane.
I love that so much.
Like that was crazy.
That was
And Mr. Post was like,
different for
get
sure.
your plastic signed. Get back, relax. Get back.
playing security guard out there.
Yeah.
Oh, I seen a photo and you were just mobbed, dude.
there was one kid. There's 2 kids trying to climb over somebody.
Oh,
get
yeah,
to you.
yeah.
Like, hey,
Hey, settle down.
Wait your turn.
Yeah. The mom was just like,
Hey, I'm sorry.
Let's go.
Hey, what's going on here?
Yeah.
It's like, and everybody's asking, like, who is this guy? It's like, he's the greatest podcaster you'd ever meet. Like, have you ever met him? Like, you ever heard his podcast?
You ever heard Joe Rogan?
Yeah.
There he is.
Yeah. It's just
Mexican hair. Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
It's like he's
I didn't know
really
Joe
popular.
Rogan was
Jose Rogan.
5'5".
Yeah.
Just
Actually,
all
he
head.
is.
Is he?
Yeah, he's actually extremely short.
He's just
There we go.
all head. He's just
That's
the
why
biggest
he
head.
doesn't show his legs ever. Yeah, he's
He's like Tom Cruise. Just like
Yeah.
him and
he's
just dangling.
famously because people have that, he's a big personality.
Right.
So people always assume he's big.
Yeah.
But then they see him out with other celebrities and he's like 5'6".
Yeah.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
I was watching a movie with Tom Cruise, speaking of short people, and I noticed that like there was shots where he was the same height as Emily Blunt. And then there's shots where he's like definitely shorter. It's like they couldn't put him on the box because he had to run.
Yeah.
So he's like here, it's like saying their lines like, oh yeah, really intense. And then all of a sudden they're like
eye to eye.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden he's like here. He's running with it.
Yeah.
And you like watch that movie and he's like, I'm firing whoever,
What is this?
Yeah, they cut a lot of it out, I'm sure.
Yeah. But I love being your hype man. Like I'm not gonna say the whole word like your backup B. I'm gonna be like, that's right. Like I wanted to just be part of me wanted to be in the support section and like be in a third official, like unofficial official.
Oh, that would have been great.
Yeah,
and just like go around and be like, have you guys seen these guys before? Like, had you ever like flash the plastic?
Yeah. What's crazy is like the way you word it. It's like, you never heard of them? Like, are you crazy?
Yeah.
Like
This is the best podcast.
I know. I was like almost like not insecure, but like
do you have imposter syndrome a little bit?
I'm just like, well, like you're hyping up stuff so much. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I was just like,
it's like, oh, that's not about that good.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, what?
They're gonna watch the podcast. They're gonna have a different opinion.
Yeah.
Well, at least they subscribe, maybe. Like,
Yeah.
Hey,
you never go. It gets better.
Yeah. Before you watch it, subscribe first.
Right.
yeah.
So one thing I used to do would be like when I was at events for Chaos Strong and stuff like that, I would have people like our stuff before they could get any like candy or anything. It's like, let me see you like that button. All right, you can have a
Yeah, maybe that's what we should do.
Yeah,
like,
we will.
Those little
like you want
7-year-old
this card?
kids.
You want this card? Let me see it bring up YouTube.
Yeah, go get your parents' phone.
Scan this.
Yeah.
Like, subscribe.
I know you got a cell phone, 12-year-old.
Yeah.
You have the biggest 12-year-old following.
Yeah, call your mom right now. Tell her you're subscribed to this. But oh man, that's funny. But like when we're out there and kids, like if you give a card to a kid, there's going to be 50, 60 kids.
They tell all the kids.
I know. I mean, it is nice. Like they come, like their parents will bring them down, and you'll give a kid, and then everyone's like, "What? Who is that?"
Yeah, it gets the buzz going. But you told me that you don't get as many subscribers as you think from that, and I was like, so I looked at the numbers because I was like, oh, and I saw the original number, and then like there's like 2 people like that subscribed. I'm like, dang, he's right.
Yeah.
These damn kids.
Yes. But it's still fun.
Oh yeah, no, it's a great experience, and I think eventually like it'll just become a thing, Like,
Yeah.
But I was thinking to myself like, man, Mondo knows what he's doing. Like he needs to figure out how to get those parents to get those cards.
I know. It's probably more of us needing to like be more vocal about it too, because like sometimes we're out there and like a kid will ask for it, and we're like, yeah, here
you go.
Yeah.
We just hand them out.
I kind of so my friend and I, speaking of, like just going to the actual officiating, so no one really knew how good I was of official, and then my best friend, his name's Aaron, and he came back from England when he was came back from the military, and he used to referee me so we started in the same referee class at the Weinheimer in Highland. And a little community center, and then we actually quit the same year too.
It's like the Harvard of referee.
Yeah.
He was 12 and I was 16, so I drove him everywhere. And this is how our friendship became like the best friendship in the world. And we don't even call each other friends, really. We call each other a person. Yeah. And so whenever we have like a secret or like a big announcement that we have to keep secret, our wives are like, "Don't tell anybody now." It's like, "Hi, Taylor, please."
Yeah.
And it's like, and he'd do the same thing. And so we could talk about it. And anyway, so he comes back from the military and he's like 26 at the time. And I'm like, he goes, "I want to get back into refereeing." And I'm like, okay. And so I went around and I said, this guy has been refereeing semi-professional matches in England this entire time. And they're like, really? It's like, he's the best referee you ever see. And like, he backed it up because he was like really good at like,
But he didn't, right? Yeah.
He was just like he was in the Air Force working on F-15s. And I'm like, and he played he went to a lot of matches, and he, like the, not the Premier League, but not the Champions League. What's it called? The next league.
Europa League?
No, like
League One? Or no, that's in France.
Wait, what are we talking about?
It's Premier League, and then it's
a championship
league.
Yeah. Championship.
I didn't want to say, okay. Anyway, so he did that. He was at that league a lot, watching games, and then he played like basically Sunday league soccer, like pub league soccer.
That's all you need.
And he was, he understood the game, and he also refereed a lot before he left for the military.
Yeah.
And so when he got back, I'm just hyping him up like, to every person who would listen. And like, so he's getting like Big 10 assignments with me to go, and Big 12 assignments. And he even got SEC. I wasn't getting
Is
SEC.
he still reffing now?
No, he quit the same year I did.
Okay.
So like we went in together and went out together basically. And so, I was like, yeah, he's the best. And we were getting like games together and traveling together. And,
that'd be awesome.
Yeah. It was so fun. And, because like, it gets really lonely to be a referee because you don't travel with people. Every person
people don't like you.
Yeah, you're the most hated.
Well, that you can be. Unless you do a good job, and then
that part
is what it is.
That part comes with the job, you know. But like, the cool thing about St. Louis is that the Loonigans respected like the game, you know what I mean, so much. And then like that actually was one. Matt, I don't know if you guys know Matt Bird. No, he's one of the original Loonigans, and so back in the day, I was doing games for the Lions, which was this really low-level soccer out in St. Charles, but it was the only good soccer in St. Louis. So the Loonigans showed up. There's like 15 of them. They would start a pregame in this pavilion across the street, and they would march in like,
nice.
And they still march in every time.
And now they got a few more people.
They do.
Just a couple.
But there was like 15 guys. I'm like, who are these people?
Yeah, beat you up in the parking lot.
And Matt is a Brit. And so they don't call the assistant referees ARs. They call them linos. And so I was on AR2, which was the one by the fans and not the coach's side, like 5 times in a row. And these guys were there every single time. And I was like, man, like, and Bird was just like, Lino, what is he doing out there? Lino. And I'm like, and then so the way I like kind of got him though was it was a really rainy game, and I started doing this like they were doing this cool thing where I was running. Every time I would run down the line, they were like splash, 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 splash. The whole Loonigans splash, 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 splash. And then I started doing foot fire, and I'm like splash, 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 and they couldn't keep up, and I'm like, and so
got him.
Yeah. And so I finally did a game for Lindsay Kennedy at Fire and Ice in the center. I had like my first big center, and then the Loonigans showed up, and they're like, "What's Lino doing with a whistle?" And then we went to the bar together. Like we showed up, Lindsay invited everybody, including the referees, and we had like a great sit down, just talking about.
They're like, wow, he's
everything.
An actual person.
Well, we found out both of us like had the similar interests, and that we're fans of the game too. And, and that was really cool. And so anyway, so when I got my first game at St. Louis FC as a line, I was checking the nets, and here's the Loonigans like, let's line out. And that actually is what stemmed like, from then on, they were like just happy to see me, because they knew how hard I worked to get there. You know? And, but then when Lee got sick, Matt reached out and got a lot of Loonigans to donate money. And I don't know, it's just like the soccer community is more than just like the players and the fans. It's also the referees. We were like, it's a fraternity. And, I'm sure you've learned that as you get more in deep in that, but like once you play soccer in St. Louis, and you are around for a long time, people just gravitate toward each other. It's like a family reunion almost. So
yeah, that's one thing too. Like you said, it's more than just players and coaches and stuff like that. Like fans, the staff. Like because we were talking to Kristen Carver about like everyone who does stuff behind the scenes that you don't even know. But even though we dress like referees, little pretend refs and stuff like that, we still don't include them. Like we should because I think you said it. You don't know like the rules of like during season and stuff. Like if they can come on a podcast and talk because
I don't know what they are allowed to do. Like, so Pro is the organization that assigns all their stuff. That they have like that insignia on their jersey. So
I need to get one of those.
Yeah. Good luck.
We just go to the class, dude.
You know, okay, so like, you know what the biggest baller move as a referee? So you have these trifold things, and one of the things you do is you have like little things that other referees can see, so that you know that you don't have to explain that you're a good referee. And that's what I was actually getting to with Aaron, is that like we would be each other's hype man. So like whenever we were around other people, it's like, did you know Aaron's like really good? And then Aaron would be like, did you see what Jacob did the other day? He like had 4 red cards and like just showed them who's boss, you know? So we would tell each other's like stories, you know, and like the legends. And it's like, yeah, like dude, this guy's like,
maybe we should start doing that.
We should.
Yeah, that's what you have to do.
You kind of already do with my whole varsity thing. Just constantly.
Yeah.
We got to come up with something for you though.
Yeah, no, I don't need anything.
Yeah.
Legend speaks for itself.
Right. But as far as your podcast, man, like, I would love to be the guy who's just going around going like, this podcast changes your life. It's the best thing. Like, I didn't
pretty close,
you know. It's changing your life for sure.
Yeah, it's been crazy. Like, we've met so many amazing people, and we're trying to dive deeper into the community and stuff like that. You know, what we did, you know, for Lela, that was just special to me. Like, I wanted to do something special. So, you know, we reached out to Ezra. Like, that's crazy. Like, that dude, he's just an amazing human being.
Right.
Like, I reached out and he was immediately like, say less. Like, I'll do it.
I want to know more about him. Like,
watch the podcast.
No, I mean, like,
I'm kidding.
I did watch some of it, but I mean, like, I want to know.
Yeah, we need to get him on again.
Yeah.
Like, I would like to know more about him, not just as a soccer player. Like,
yeah, just dive deeper.
Yep. You know?
Yeah. Him and Dita, like, they come from humble beginnings. Yeah.
Those are brothers, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, same last name, look very similar. They have like the same eyes.
Yep.
Right?
They do. Yeah.
And I was
very
like,
unique.
I think they're the same family, but I didn't want to assume anything. So.
Yeah. Both of them are great. But like, he was like super down to do it. Got everyone to sign that jersey, which was crazy. Right. And I'm like, this isn't enough, you know? So then we reached out, Kristen Carver, I had to give her a shout out because she gave us the contacts to the directors of, you know, STL.
Right.
And then we reached out and they're like, absolutely. Like, would Lela be interested in, you know, delivering the ball or whatever? I'm like, sure she would. Like, that'd be awesome.
So she's actually I sent this to Kim Love as a PE teacher here. She's also
she was my PE teacher.
Oh, so do you know her story with her grandson?
Mm-mm.
So her grandson died of childhood cancer. And,
oh man!
And then they were going to St. Jude. So every weekend she was going to Nashville to let her daughter go home to see her other kids.
Yeah.
And so when he passed away, she started this club called the Childhood Cancers Awareness Club, and they've donated money to our family a couple times during their treatments. But I showed her the stuff that we did on Sunday, and she's like, "We can do something like that for the football game." And I'm like so Lela's delivering the football to the referees this
This
Friday.
Awesome. That's awesome.
So I'm like, it's just a trend. She's like, pretty soon she's like, another ball, huh? Like, what do you want me to do with this?
Yeah,
Throw it?
Yeah.
Kick it?
Get the football. And she's like, where's they gave me a red card.
You're like, you got anything?
Where's my jersey?
Yeah. Signed jersey.
Yeah. Is there any jerseys here? But I was getting back to what I was saying before, is like the baller move for a referee is like to open your little trifold and like have stuff that people like go, what's going on here? So the red card here is like the Rula gave it to her before the game.
Yeah. Like
what you do, it has FIFA on there. So like I got a pen, I had a pen from a guy that was a FIFA referee. I would just have it like just out, you know?
Dude, these referees.
So people like would go, they would just peek, you know, they wouldn't even say anything, like, and then all of a sudden, like their attitudes would change completely.
That's crazy.
So you put like pens in. So like I would have like a Big Ten pen on there, like on the like inside the fold, and like a couple playoff patches that you get, and you know, just so you know, like when you open your bag, they're like, oh, he's not a rookie. This guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know what we could do.
Yeah, have like the presence, you know. Maybe just wear a tie all the time. That way, like,
that's
people come to you and like, you must be the owner of this establishment.
Yeah. Oh man, I remember like just a little off topic, like back in the day. I don't know when it was, but you're like, maybe it was prom, and you're like, if after 2 a.m., just go home.
Yeah,
and I'm like, what? Nothing good ever happens after 2 a.m. Yeah, I'm like, started thinking back after every like time I stayed after. I'm like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's
not
good.
1:58. I'm like, I gotta get home now.
Call that Uber. You have it just on standby.
Yeah.
It's like you order it at 2 a.m. Like,
yes, I was like, he said that, and it happened to work out. So if he says wear a tie,
yeah,
gotta wear the tie.
Like if you want someone to take you seriously, like dress above everybody else.
That's why we wear.
I mean, like I think so. We were able to spot you from across the stadium. Be like, see those guys in the yellow? We're going there.
Yeah.
I'd like that.
It definitely
like,
stands out.
I think it's a great PR move. I just would. So there's a thought just popped in my head right now. You should have the like follow us. Like I have your advertising on the back.
On the back.
Yeah. So we started like that's why because we had just random like stickers on.
Yeah.
And then so we got the city ref stuff on there, but then we started thinking like, eventually I want to get like sponsors on the jerseys.
That'd be cool.
So like get that, but yeah, like maybe have something on there. So follow
us on YouTube.
Yeah,
like City Refs.
Exactly.
You know, I think that'd be really sweet. And even like the shirts too. Like have like follow us on YouTube.
Yeah.
Go to YouTube.
Yeah, those are some clean shirts.
I love those shirts, man. So that shirt right there, full disclosure, I slept in that shirt last night. And it's super comfortable.
I wore it under. Yeah, he's like, I'm wearing it underneath the.
It's so soft and like fits perfect.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Boom.
I
great undershirt.
Yeah,
yeah.
I never
Whenever
wear
I'm at
undershirts.
home, I just throw one of these on because they're so soft and.
I don't wear undershirts anymore either. I've noticed I sweat more when I wear undershirt.
Yep.
It's not a big sweater, so not a problem.
Well, I have a sweater under here.
Yeah.
He's got a sweater.
Yeah. It's like undershirt.
That's how you know. Yeah, that's how you know how much we've had to drink throughout the night. When this zipper's all the way down.
It's like
or how hot it is.
Yeah, or how hot it is. Yep, yeah, exactly. Each beer goes down a notch.
right.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, it was awesome that you guys got to go to the sports section and see us down there.
I loved it. It's super steep to walk down those stairs. I was a little afraid that I was going to fall down. Like, I think that.
And you're so tall, man.
Yeah. I would have been a hard fall.
Yeah.
First.
Well, we saw you across the stadium, because you were like 3 feet taller than everyone else.
They're like, hey, sit down up there. I am sitting.
You know what? We were in the back row on the fence, and it was great. Like that way, I didn't feel like I was blocking a kid's view.
Yeah.
And Lela was able to see too, so it was cool.
Yeah, because everybody stands over there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The I was going to so I want to tell you about speaking of referee jerseys. So a lot of those guys, they get them like tailored. Like I actually had mine tailored. So like referee jerseys don't come like standard really very well. So like
no, this one makes me look bigger than I am.
Yeah,
same.
It's true. Like
whoa.
No, it does.
No, it's true. Like I had a referee. I had someone tell me like so when I was getting assessed one time, someone goes, Jacob, you're just so big, like you're huge, and I'm like,
thank you.
Well, okay. I'm like, what do you want me to do about it? He's like, cut off your bones. I don't know. And so like Aaron and I both like said, okay, we need to do something about this. We need to like look good for TV. And so we went to a tailor and had all our jerseys like made them so that there's a little less, like there's a little more room in the gut.
Yeah.
But a little less, like made us like have tight arms, tight here.
That's what we need to do.
Maybe
once we get sponsored finally, we're like, we need to get some tailored jerseys.
And so like my arms looked absolutely jacked whenever I would put the communication device here. And
So
did you see that lineman at the City 2 game?
Yeah.
That dude was jacked.
So
all tatted up.
Oh yeah.
That's a J-Mac. I referred to
that's a big dude.
I was
like, man, you don't want
that's a cop.
Complaining to that guy over there.
Yeah.
He's seriously a cop. Like that guy.
He looks like cop.
He does.
So like anyway, I've known him for a long time, J-Mac. He's a big guy. Big. But like I'm a big guy too. So it's like I like working with the big guys because it makes me look smaller. If that makes sense. But
yeah, he's just jacked.
Yeah. Whenever I have to do like girls games, I look like, and one time I had to wear a green jersey and my mom watched the game online and she's like, you look like Shrek. chasing after.
Dude, maybe that's what.
Yeah, we're not wearing the green jerseys ever again.
It's like you just look like you're a Shrek chasing after these kids. So I stopped wearing the green jersey. I try to wear black no matter what. Like sometimes it was to my detriment. Like
it's like 100 degrees.
Yeah, you're like, all I have is the green or the black.
I don't care. It's like, I'm going black.
How did they choose that?
So you don't get a choice when it comes to the professional stuff. They'll send you a piece of paper about a couple of days before you travel, and they say you're wearing red, baby, or you're wearing blue today. And like, so there's some baller referees. There's a guy. Aaron worked with the guy that did the World Cup final, fourth official, like for the men's World Cup, Israel, and he came in for a St. Louis FC game, and just as a tune-up game, like when he was first breaking into the MLS.
Yeah,
and I guess it was an off week where the MLS weren't playing, so they're like, go do the St. Louis game. And I'm like, okay. He comes in with the smallest bag, like this. He has one jersey, one pair of shorts, one pair of socks, and he's wearing his shoes. And he's like, I don't even bring flags. I hope you guys brought them. And he just is like, this is what I'm like. He goes, this is all I brought. And he's wearing, like, what are you going to, like, you didn't bring any other clothes for this? Like, I'm going right to the airport after this, bro. And,
dang.
And so he had this clothes he's wearing, and he said it was this small, it looked like
it's like, bro, you could bring a carry-on.
Yeah. It looked like one of those toiletry bags.
That's crazy.
Like the players walk in with every time.
Yeah,
the little bags with like
little shoe bags.
I would love like one day, like we could like go just hang out with like some refs. Like they got to have like some place they all go out and hang out or something.
Oh, so I was actually asked to go like after the game, like last night, and I'm like, I'll put my kid to bed. And I'm like,
but I know 2 other refs. That's what you should have said.
Yeah. The cool thing was like, so after the ambush games, whenever, that's the most fun because like the pro guys, they don't drink a lot during the season.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But the ambush guys, there's usually a lot of older referees that are not doing the outdoor stuff anymore.
I just picture like the sports academy referees.
Well, no, it's like, it's guys that used to be like legends, you know?
Yeah.
Like in their own right. Like this guy named Rich Grady from Chicago has the MLS record for the most red cards ever.
See, I can respect that.
Like he launched people, man, and he was one of my favorites. I would go to State Cup.
He was flashing that plastic,
dude. So so a little story about him. He's a history teacher, and so he didn't pull any punches, and he was just lost his FIFA badge. Not lost it. He had just aged out. He was 45.
Yeah.
And I go to State Cup for the first time, and I am his 4th official, and I don't know who this guy is, and he does the trifold like meta move, like. I'm like, that's a FIFA badge.
You're like, this
guy knows what he's doing. And so the game goes on, and it's like, if you ever been to State Cup, it's like kind of like a Sunday league, but with the youth officials, so anything goes essentially, but it's supposed to be more formal. And so he's doing the game. It's a U19 game. It's been raining off and on in Rockford. It's on a grass field, and there's a fight, and he breaks it up, but I was on the other side going like, oh my God, there's a dad on the field chasing a kid with an umbrella. And like, he was like opening it up like this, like Indiana Jones style.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, what's happening? And so Grady comes over and he goes, did you see anything? I'm like, I saw what you were dealing with, but then I saw a dad chasing a kid with an umbrella. And he's like, what? I'm like, that guy right there. And he goes over there and he goes, you're gone. You're like, you're launched.
And then he just adds it to his record.
Yeah. So, but
Check.
he
gets it tatted every time he gives a red card.
Awesome. So but the cool thing was that at the end of the game, a player comes up and goes, yo, ref. And he goes, in the middle of the street, he stops and he just leans on the car and he's just like, why'd you get in a fight? And he's like, had to deal with some business. And he's just like the coolest customer, you know? And so later on, I got assigned a big game at regionals, and he's one of the administrators for the thing. And so this coach has been cussing all weekend, and no one's dealing with it. It's a U13 match. And I've been, you know, and so I say, oh, and Grady comes up to me and goes, you need to handle business today. And I'm like, okay. And And so he cusses, and I go over there and gone. And he's like, so I launch him. And then Grady comes up and he goes, thanks, appreciate it.
Nice.
So.
Oh man, that's crazy. But
that's awesome.
yeah, those are some good stories. I just want to say, thanks again for sharing your story about Lela and then all those ref stories. Like, I didn't even know we were going to get into that, so that was pretty interesting.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Appreciate it.
And then I know you had a clip of Lela saying, thanks.
Yeah.
So we'll show that now and then be good to go, man. We'll appreciate it. We'll get you on again. We'll
definitely.
We'll get you up being a hype man at the game.
Yeah,
I want to do that so bad.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to.
I just want you to videotape me being like Will Ferrell for you guys.
Yeah. Well,
that's kind of what I got. That vibe.
Yeah. Well, that's
talking
me
about
in general.
That's good.
That'll be perfect, man. So yeah, thanks again, brother.
No problem. All right, guys.
All right.
See you.
Thank you, City 2 and Ezra, for setting this all up. I loved the soccer game, and I really enjoyed myself. And also, thank you for my jersey.